chicken chasseur. Dave, what's it like?
Lovely.
All right, out again with me dad over the hill wild camper. So it's what's the date?
30th.
It's the 30th of July, Sunday. It's about tea time, and we've just come to, or we've parked at Hethpool in the College Valley, and we're making our way along the St Cuthbert's Way, and the plan is to have a camp on Madden Law, or somewhere around there anyway.
Depend on the wind.
Depend on the wind. We're not too far then from the border, the English-Scottish border, and there's Whitelaw around there as well. But we'll see how long it takes us. I think this walk, my dad's plotted it, and I think it'll take about 4 miles, 4.5 miles. Bit breezy. It was forecast to rain all afternoon, but again the weatherman has changed his mind at the last minute, so hopefully we'll be lucky. Anyway, have a bit more crack later on once we get a bit nearer and the scenery gets a bit better. Right, we'll press on. Right, we're in Scotland now, so we've just walked up to the border ridge and crossed it, and we've got to the bit where St Cuthbert's Way meets the Pennine Way. So now we've joined the Pennine Way to cross the border again, and then we're not far off Madam Law. And then when we get there, Dave's going to pitch his brand new tent. He's used it once already. I'll wait to show you. I'll wait till we're there before we give you a
Our brand new tent.
I've got shares in it. And then I'm going to have to go off and get some water, because we didn't fancy humping all the water, but I'm sure there's a few streams kicking by around on the map, and we've had a lot of water, as I'm sure you'll agree. In July, it's been a pretty wet July. So anyway, without further ado, let's press on. So that's Madam Law. So we'll have a little look around, see what it's like to pitch, what the wind's like. Got 2 visitors. They don't look like they're going to be any bother. Right. So we got to, as you saw, we got to the top of the Madam Law, but then we didn't have any water, but we factored that in. But really, any of the streams running nearby were just dry, weren't they? So we've come down to the Trowup, I think it's pronounced Trowup Burn here, and we've got to the ford, and we'll fill up our water now, and then we're going to head back up sort of that way on, and either get back to Loft Hill, but I was there last time, or the hill fort which is next to Loft Hill. So so the next time you see us, we'll be up there. Right, let's fill some water up there. Well, that was fun. So we made a few errors of judgment there. We went to that, I can't remember what it's called, I think it's called Sinkside Hill Homestead, and literally there was nowhere to pitch. So we decided to come back to Loft Hill, but we took the forest track, but we decided to kind of go a bit off piste, and it got a bit Rambo at one point, didn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it did.
Anyway, we've made it just in time for, as you can see, a nice little sunset. It's 10 to 9, so we're well behind schedule. As you can see on me back, I've got the Trangia, and I'm sure a lot of you are here to watch Trangia Masterclass, so we better get pitched and get cracking because I'm hungry. Right, I'll bring you back once we're pitched and we're starting doing the cooking. Doing a French classic. Right, we've put our pyjamas on and our down jackets, and now we're in my tent. So it's quite breezy outside, but it's just, I think it's forecast to calm down, and it has, I reckon, just calmed down.
It has a bit, yeah.
So, but because it's nearly dark, we're going to do the cooking in the tent. So, obviously you all know that I've got an NVQ level 1 in professional cooking from Gateshead College. So strictly speaking, I haven't been trained in the classics, but I think my foundation is definitely, you know, the French classics, I would say. So I'm going to do chicken chasseur, and Dave's going to film as much as he can. Like I said, I like to, you know, pass on some of my knowledge to you lot. So anyway, it's been a good day. I think, how long did we walk? 8 mile?
About 8 mile, yeah.
Up and down 8 mile. Been a hard afternoon. So it must be nearly, what time is it? 10 o'clock?
10 to 10.
It's 10 to 10, we haven't even started cooking yet. So anyway, I'll better crack on. Like I said, we'll film as we go, right? So, first of all, I've got some chicken thighs which are filleted, and we've got no bones, no skin, and I've just seasoned them in some, I'll put them in some seasoned flour, and I'm just sealing them. And I'll do, I think I've got about 4 bits for each of us. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'll brown each bit of chicken and put it in a separate pot, and then I'll start on the vegetables, then bring it all back together again and let it simmer. I reckon it's gonna be about midnight before we eat this, like. So the next bit, we're going to put some tomato puree in, and we've got to cook that off, otherwise raw tomato puree is minging. You want to cook out the raw flavour of that tomato puree, and then the next thing that's going in is the wine. So here we've got Merlot, which is a French wine.
And Dave was hoping he wasn't going to use it all.
Well, there's some there, look.
But he did.
So obviously we're gonna let that wine come up to temperature, and I'll just boil off some of the alcohol. But while I'm on, I'm going to put one of the Knorr chicken stock pots in, which will provide most of the seasoning. Oh, well, I'm not going to bother putting any more salt in because of the bacon. And the no stock pot. But the flour of the chicken went in, had some black pepper in it. Then I'll put a couple of sprigs of thyme in. Obviously, I'm not chopping it, so we'll have to be picking it out of our teeth when I serve it. That looks great already, doesn't it?
It does.
And then next, which some people omit from chicken chasseur, but it's actually the most crucial flavour, I think, is some tarragon. But I couldn't get any fresh tarragon today, so it's just got dry tarragon.
Why you put a lot in there, Stephen?
Yeah, because it's dry, you need a bit more in.
All right. I mean, why should I ask?
I mean, I was going to say, only ask sensible questions. Right, now let's get this chicken back in. Alright, I think there's just about enough room.
Yeah.
Just about enough room. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the simmer ring on, because this is it seems very hot tonight, as in the Trangia does. So I'm going to just put that simmer ring on, and then put the lid on, and we'll just let that simmer. Lovely. So I think I'll bring you back once we get, because that's it now. That's all you have to do. See how easy it is to make chicken chasseur in a tent. But that'll need to cook through for maybe like 20 minutes or so, maybe a little bit longer. And then we'll make the mashed potato. So I'll bring you back once we getting towards the mashed potato stage, and then I'm handing over to Dave because he's in charge of the dessert today, and we're having, I'll show you what we're having. So Dave, if you point at that, we're having salted caramel sponge pudding with custard, mint. It'll be about midnight like when we're eating that. But anyway, bring you back when it's looking like the mashed potatoes ready. Right, so it's nearly done, but the last thing you want to do is put in some, well, basically like concussed tomatoes, which are tomatoes with the like the seeds out and the skin off, diced in a dice. But I can't be asked to do that, so I'll leave the skin on. So I'm going to prepare these tomatoes now, and once I've done that, I'll show you me putting them into the chicken chasseur. I don't think we're going to get much more in this bowl. Right, so we've prepared the mashed potatoes, the Idaho, or Idaho mash or whatever. So that's in there. Take two. So Dave's just knocked his jet boil all over his ankle and that. I was saying, the mashed potatoes, well, it's pretty much done now, and as we can see, the chicken chasseur is done. So I'm going to divvy it up, and then I'll show you the finished product. Right, so I've just served up, so I'll show you the end result. There you go, chicken chasseur. Dave, what's it like?
Lovely. Oh yeah, nice. Very nice.
There you go. French classic in a trail star. So anyway, I'm not going to make you watch us eat it. We'll enjoy this, and then Dave's going to have another go at doing his pudding. Right, I'll bring you back then. Right, Dave, shall we check this custard?
Yeah.
Boiling the carton custard. We've already done the steamed the puddings, and boiling the carton custard. I'm not sure you meant to do that, but it seemed to work. Lovely. Right, that's it. I've kicked them out the tent. We've had our last wee, and now we're hunkering down. So it's 11:30. Dessert was very nice. The custard wasn't, it was warm. It was very, very nice though. Very enjoyable meal and a pretty hard hike. So I'll wish you a good night and I'll see you in the morning. Morning. Well, as you can see, the flies is out. They're not midges, same as last time I was on Loft Hill. These are just bog standard shit flies. Anyway, head net's out, a bit more bearable. Well, I had a great sleep there. Woke up at 5:30 and then got back to sleep until 6:30. Probably a record for me. So anyway, we've boiled the kettle, we've made our breakfast. Have our breakfast, get packed up and get away, I think. As you can see, a bit cloudy. Rained all night pretty much, but not like torrential, but it was forecast. So yeah, right, we'll breakfast and then get packed up. Speak to you in a bit, hopefully without a head net on. Right, well that wasn't quite a wet pack up, but it was definitely a damp pack up. It's a little bit of drizzle. Anyway, we are packed up and we've left no trace as always. So that's my second time second wild camp in a row on Loft Hill. It wasn't by design, like just by fate, but still enjoyed it. Like I said, slept really well. What I would say, I didn't mention it last time about Loft Hill, is it's covered in cow shit. So the biggest challenge about pitching, there's loads of places to pitch in terms of being flat. Is there a big enough area without a cow pat in it? As you can see, my dad's, I don't know if you can see, he's surrounded by shite.
And some of them got mushrooms.
Mushrooms growing out of some of them. Dave's picked a few for home. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. We have. So that was Loft Hill again. I won't be back. Right, and I'll sign off now. So thanks for watching. If you've got to the end, well done. Any comments or any advice, always greatly appreciated. So cheers, thanks for watching. Ciao.